Oh, here we have Matt. So, yes, there we are.
Hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate that very personal and very interesting look through some of the things you're doing. I do a lot of work on AdWords, and I just have a couple of questions that concern how do you balance the need for pushing the product forward and all these great new features which you continually push out with the need to do some more sort of sustaining engineering on the existing product and doing things like, following the click type of scheduling as opposed to where the advertiser, comes from scheduling. Things like, flipping the ability to put geographic targeting and your great testing, your ACE at the ad group level as opposed to campaign. And of course, site links is, I think, a very good example of a wonderful, absolutely incredible, game changer for links. But at the same time, you broke your tracking, your own tracking paradigm. So my question is, how do you balance the need for introducing new products with the needs to keep your advertising ecosystem sort of efficient in their daily lives?
Yeah, no, definitely, that's a great question, and that's something we spend a lot of time thinking about too as we roll out the products. And our goal is to do both, which is to continue to offer those new features that we know are really relevant and useful, and that we know will drive more leads. The leads will be more efficient. We know there'll be better experiences for the users. But at the same time, also understand, what are the things that can need more improvement? What's like the next version of the existing features that we already had? And so, actually, one of the things that we're thinking a lot about right now is, in the last couple of years, a lot of things have changed. I think we sort of forget that 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't really have mobile, we didn't have mobile display, we didn't have display, and we didn't have all the location components that we have now. And so one of the things we're really thinking about now is how to really kind of go back and offer these as much sort of simpler, more streamlined of the products and the things that we release. What are the essential features? How do we build them in better packages? And how do we make sure that those sets of features work really well together? So we are working on thinking about that.
My only follow-up comment is, I just recommend you send all your new feature engineers to an island without internet access for a couple months and let your sustaining guys stay at work for a few days.
Yeah, we do both. The other thing too I've been really focused on is, in terms of leading our teams, is actually trying to really understand the issues that our everyday customers have. And part of the problem is that when you're, if you're working on a search product, everybody uses a search product, including you. But if you are an engineer working on an advertising product, you don't necessarily manage $1 million campaign, right? And so I'm actually doing a number of things to give visibility of our core engineering team into the daily issues that advertisers have, so that they start to understand and be able to make those decisions. Because a lot of those decisions are made like across the development process, and so they need to be really aware of what those issues are.
Just give them $1 million, let them run their own campaigns.
Yeah. That would be an expensive way of solving that problem.
Over here.
This is sort of an interesting question. Having worked, I worked at Ask for a period of time, so I get a sense for sort of the pressure to sort of satisfy the need of your customer, right? How is it that, you talk about how great the search engine is and how great the results are, even from the very beginning, but yet, as an SEO, right, I look at the basic real estate above the fold becoming even less and less and less because the ads are populating the right-hand side. Now they started with 1, now there's 2, now there's 3, and the color that sort of demarcates the ads is becoming progressively lighter, and so I'm trying to have an understanding, and literally I'm not trying to be critical here, but I'm trying to get a feel for, is this just downward pressure for the organic results based on the fact that advertisers are throwing increasing pressure on you to show more, to deliver more, or is this really just feedback from the user experience?
Yeah. Well, we haven't actually added more ads. We've actually had 3 ads for a while. I think since I don't know, for at least the last 5 years. But I think what we have added is that the ads have taken up more space as we've added features like site links in them. And so I think that is what's potentially using up more space. On the other hand, it's a challenge because if people are looking for commercial information, a lot of times what we're showing in the ads is sometimes like the most useful and relevant information. Or it's certainly a very important, so we don't do that basically, I'm saying, on like non-commercial queries. But if someone is looking to buy something and the query are like, kid toys, and the first result is Toys R Us, and then the Toys R Us says, girl toys, boy toys, like, summer specials, etc. We do make this argument that that's a useful type of result. And so I think a lot of it has to do with in context. It's driven much more by trying to actually come up with what's that right experience for a user and an advertiser as opposed to anything else. Yeah, I mean, it is, we definitely think about the whole page, I think, which is also part of your question too, and what's the right kind of experience for that whole page between the search and the ads.
I think we have time for one more.
I have more of a broad advertising question. It seems like the industry overall is perpetuating the experience of advertising as negative. Like, you're watching a video and, only 6 more seconds left, only 4 more seconds left, or click here to skip the ad.
Yeah.
And do you think it's an issue for the future of advertising? And if so, what, as an influential player, what do you want to see happen to kind of make this switch of mentality?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is an issue, and I think it's part of also the challenge and the opportunity. So again, ads are really just information, and so if ads are information, how do you show the right ad at the right time? And there are lots of things that are ads that people like to see. Trailers, for example, people like to see trailers. The Old Spice ad on YouTube was like one of the most viewed videos ever. And so it's not anything necessarily inherent in advertising. Advertising can be really compelling. It can be really useful. When you get that coupon for that night off in the hotel that you're planning to stay on, that's really valuable. And so the question is actually showing it at the time that you want to have. And that's our goal. So I think if we're successful and continue to do a great job, there will be a lot less of that users will think like, oh, I got something super useful, I was really excited, I got this promotion, I got this special, I found out about this product, this dress, this something that I wouldn't have known about otherwise.
Do you think online will get to, the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
we tune in just for the ads.
Yeah.
And yet online, you have people like, well, I don't want this or that's intrusive.
Yeah.
What do you think has to happen to?
Well, and there are lots of other examples where people like the ads. Like if you look at any fashion magazine, all of that is ads. Or you look at catalogs, those are ads. Or you even business magazines, a lot of them are ads, and people see that as really useful. So I think that's the challenge. How do we get to offering more kind of richer experiences, but also having them more in context to those specific users? And part of it is understanding, users self-select. They're like, I'm interested in a fashion magazine, and so they see fashion ads. And so it's a combination, I think, of personalization, richer experiences, and I don't know, probably some technology I haven't thought about.
Do you think we need an all ad button on Google? Because there are times you think, why, I really do just want the ads, and I don't think there is a way. I think you did have at one point, but I don't think it's a way for me to say, you know what, I don't need all the organic results in this particular search. Just show me more of the...
That's what the Yellow Pages is. Just to put that in perspective, the Yellow Pages, everything that you see is an ad. The bigger the ad,
Right.
the more useful people think it is, because they're like, oh, they're established, they've been around for longer, it's big, I'll call them. No one's going to call the plumber that has a tiny result, they're usually going to call the plumber that has a big result. And so I think, just sort of in close, there is a lot of opportunity to create really amazing, compelling ads, and that's our vision, and that's what we hope to accomplish, and that's what I think the future, I think that's what we can make the future to be.
Great. I was going to close with one last question. Did you have one? The last thing I was wondering is what do you think is the biggest thing to come? What are you going to be surprised, or what are you hoping for is going to happen in the next year or 2 or 3?
gosh, there's so many things that are going to happen, I think, in the next couple. I think we forget how fast this industry moves. Just like in general. Or like for ads.
I think just intro to ads. I mean, I'm trying to think of, you talked about the idea of we've got mobile, we've got quick commerce. I think we kind of knew that, but I don't know that we necessarily knew we'd be doing it the way we did. But.
So I mean, so we have like all our plans. I mean, I think.
Oh yeah, tell us those.
Those are trade secrets. I mean, I'll just say one thing. So I'll just say my most amazing ad experience ever. So, and kind of like, I want us to be able to get to that all the time. So, so I have a daughter, so I have one daughter, and she wanted to take Chinese. And I went around and I emailed like lots and lots of people, like, who's the best Chinese here? She's 3. And I was like, you want to take Chinese? But anyway, so I called all my friends, and I got the name of like someone else who recommended this Chinese teacher. And after I got the person's name, I came back and I looked at my email where I had emailed people, and at the bottom of the email was the name of the exact teacher that my friends had recommended to me. She was advertising using AdWords, and she had shown up on my email. And I was like, this is amazing. This is so serendipitous. Like how, like I didn't have to, like if I had this all the time, I would have had to go and talk to 10 people and ask them like, who is their Chinese teacher? I could have actually just had Google magically know this for me. And maybe even gotten a discount. And so, those are the kind of things that I'd like us to do more of. But to do that, it's going to take some of the things that we're doing now, some of the personalization, some of the understanding our users better, understanding our connections. And so those are all things we're working on, but I hope we can get to those really amazing experiences.
I hope you worked out a good trade deal with her. Some more free ads for some lessons. Well, with that, thank you very much for being here today.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.